everybody, welcome back to the Silver Lining Donation Inspiration Edition. I'm your host, Juliette Valle, and this is South Florida Fair 2020, and I am so excited because in the organ donation community, we are a very tight-knit community, whether you are an advocate or a transplant recipient or a donor yourself. We generally follow the same circle of people to hear their inspiring stories, and today I have two of the most inspiring ladies I have seen on social media yet. They were also just featured on the Ellen Show along with Sarah Hyland for their incredible story. One of them is a transplant recipient, the other is a very generous altruistic donor, and together they have formed an amazing organization called the Be More Foundation, and they are also best friends. So
hi, how are you?
Better now.
All right, so Erin, start at the beginning. When did you find out you needed a kidney transplant?
So I've had kidney disease pretty much my whole life, but it wasn't until a month after I got married that I went into kidney failure. And from there, it was just a downward spiral of things. I needed to go on dialysis. I needed a transplant. So my whole world got shifted upside down. You never think you're going to go through something like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Brianna, you heard about her story how?
I was just at my parents' house scrolling through Facebook, and I came across this post that Erin's husband had shared. I didn't know who they were, but I instantly felt this overwhelming feeling in my heart that I was this person's perfect match.
Sarah, you had, right? You had two?
Yes, I've had 2 kidney transplants, and I was 21 for my first, and then 26 for my second, which I believe we got your first, my second, the same year in 2017.
Correct, yeah.
So we're both on our 3-year anniversary.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean,
how do you feel when you hear stories like this?
it's so beautiful. Altruistic donors are just the most amazing people on the entire planet, I think. Your story is the fact that you guys are the best friends now, like this whole thing that's brought you together. It's just so beautiful. And thank you so much for being such an amazing human being and helping Erin out. There are so many of us that are on dialysis and on a transplant on a waiting list, and like hundreds of thousands of people on waiting lists. So thank you so much just for being so kind.
Shutterfly wants to help you create memories with this check. It's a check for $10,000.
You know, Ellen, that's so weird because I also have friends at Shutterfly, and they gave me a check for $10,000 to give you guys.
So that's $20,000.
$20,000 math, guys.
Go to our website to learn more about how you can help save a life. We'll be right back.
So please welcome my 2 amazing guests, Erin and Brianna. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Thank you both so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you guys here, and I'm so excited to hear your guys' story.
Thanks for having us.
Too. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So I'm going to start off by saying that, like I said before, I saw your YouTube where you met with Ellen and Sarah Hyland, and I think me, along with the rest of the viewers, fell in love with your story. So now I know that you, Brianna, were an altruistic donor, meaning you didn't know Erin until you saw that ad on Facebook. So tell me how you came to the decision to donate to a complete stranger.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought this would be part of my life plan. I honestly didn't even know what organ donation was when I first read Erin's story. But I just felt inspired by a post I saw on Facebook randomly scrolling one day. And I just felt this overwhelming feeling on my heart that I was supposed to get tested to see if I was this person's match. And turns out I was.
That is incredible. I think altruistic donors are some of the most incredible people on the planet. I think everyone can universally agree that is a very generous decision, and it's just like so cool that you decided to do that for someone you didn't even know, but now you guys are best friends, which is, I think, the sweetest part of the whole thing, that you grew so close. And Erin, you were on dialysis. What kind of dialysis were you on, and had your family expressed any interest in donating, or had they tried and it just didn't quite go through? And lastly, how did you feel when you heard about Brianna?
So I was on PD dialysis, peritoneal dialysis. I was very fortunate that I was able to do it at home and I didn't have to go to a center. I only went to a center maybe like once every 2 months. So I got to do it at night, and then basically you dialyze for about an hour, you sleep with it in, and then in the morning you take out your output. So it's Brianna always likes to say, like, I say, like, oh, it wasn't so bad, but I mean, I was 24 years old on dialysis, so it was definitely like awful. But I had people in my family that wanted to get tested, but nobody was a match, or they weren't suitable enough to be a donor. And I mean, just, I'm so thankful for Brianna. I can't believe, even like, I lived our story, but I still can't believe it's actually real. You know what I mean?
I can't believe it's actually real either.
Yeah.
You know, even I was speaking to my mom, who, like I was telling Erin before the interview, knows and loves you guys. She's at the kidney group, and she has an Instagram, and she just thinks you guys are the coolest. But like, we were talking about it yesterday, it's just such an incredible story. And yes, like you said, Erin, 24 years old, that is extremely young. I think that there is a misconception that most people on dialysis are older because, well, a lot of them are, but we see these young people who are so affected by it, like Sarah Hyland, and it completely turns your life upside down one day. I mean, when you first heard that you had that, what were your thoughts?
You know, I got married, and a month after I got married, I went into kidney failure. So my world was just completely shifted upside down. You don't have much time to think about things, you know, you're just kind of scrambling to understand it all. And yeah, so dialysis is, it's not fun for anyone, especially a 24-year-old who just wants to live their life and be married and be in a honeymoon stage that I never, unfortunately, got. But you just have to make the most of your situation and just pray that there's someone out there like Brianna.
Absolutely. And it's important to note that 80% of the people currently waiting on the transplant waiting list are in need of a kidney. So it is by far the most needed organ, which probably didn't really help out the stress you must have been feeling at that time. But then in comes Brianna. But it wasn't always easy. It's not like a flip the switch, here's my kidney, take it, Erin, and run with it. It's a long process. So Brianna, I heard you said that you had a bit of a struggle getting cleared for surgery regarding high blood pressure. I hear this all the time, that it's not consistently high, but it's high at that moment. I heard you hated needles, and that of course contributes to it, but you had a hard time. They called it white coat suppression, hypertension rather. Did you ever have a moment of thinking this process is a little too hard, or this is so long, or you stuck it out?
Honestly, something that really stuck out to me during getting tested, I mean, you go through a lot to get tested. They want to make sure you're as healthy as possible to do this. And they really care about your life as well, that you're going to do this for someone.
Right.
And I remember I kept just thinking to myself every time, this is like emotionally hard on me, and like I hate needles personally, but I couldn't imagine if I was Erin. Like, this girl that was my age was going through this stuff, and I couldn't imagine feeling sick every day and doing dialysis and things she had to go through. So when you look back on it and you're like, oh, I did get blood work done and get some tests done, that's nothing compared to what Erin was going through and what other people are going through waiting for an organ.
That is a very, very generous way to look at it. And you two are the same age, going through very different experiences, but your selflessness allowed you to say, yes, this is hard, but what she's going through is 10 times harder. And so I'm going to help out and, you know, take that sacrifice, which is very admirable. I do want to ask, are you two in close proximity to each other as far as location goes? Do you live near each other?
Yeah, not far at all. I think we live about like 25 minutes from each other, so not bad.
Wow. Okay.
When I first read Erin's story, I was living in Jersey and she was in Philly, but it's right over the bridge, so we weren't far at all.
Yeah.
Right. So I imagine that when you first reached out to Erin, Brianna, that there was some online communication before you guys met in person. What was meeting in person for the first time like?
It was
like, there's no words for that day. I feel like me and Erin still kind of talk about like when we met. But she invited me to go to the Gift of Life Donor Dash with her. So it was just so fitting to meet her in that situation. Like, it just couldn't have been better.
That is so amazing. And now I want to know about your guys' surgical experience. I'm sure this was a very bonding experience. We've seen another best friend duo in the public eye who Selena Gomez received a kidney from her best friend, Francesca, and that was an incredible story, but they both shared how the surgery experience impacted each of them, and I'd like to know how it impacted each of you.
So the biggest thing that I remember from the day of surgery is just seeing Bree for the first time, and just, I was getting my vitals done by my nurse, and I just said, I have to get up. I immediately ran to Brianna. We hugged. Everyone was crying. It was probably one of the best moments of my life, just because it was like, this is finally happening. We're here. We're doing it. So that was incredible. But she went in before me. I asked about her as much as I could up until the point when I went in. And I think our surgery my surgery at least took a little bit longer. I had some complications due to my PD dialysis catheter. Mm-hmm. But when I was out of surgery, my first thought was, where's Brianna? And I just couldn't wait to see her.
You guys have a theme of thinking about each other here. I love how you were asking about her to the very moment you had to go into surgery, which is no doubt very scary for you. I think that you were trying to be focused on yourself, but more importantly on your friend. And you, Brianna, how did you feel when you were about to go into surgery?
I was so nervous, but I just it was so weird because I was so nervous, but I was so calm. And I'm the kind of person where even just going somewhere, I'll get super anxious to go. But I remember I woke up at 3 a.m. My family slept over and we all took the train together into Philly. And I was just oddly calm while I was nervous. And I just knew that was God guiding me and telling me this is the thing I'm supposed to do, that I wasn't freaking out or backing out. And I mean, I think something that we don't even really talk about much, Erin, was our families met for the first time.
Right.
While they were waiting, in the waiting room for our surgery. And I love that they always talk about how much they bonded and how special this was for them too, that they were becoming one family with their one daughter giving a cake to the other daughter. So it was something really special for our whole family too. But I remember the first thing I asked when I woke up from surgery was, how's Erin? So it's very similar. But yeah, I mean, I was only in the hospital a few days after. The only reason I was even there more than one day was just because I was allergic to the anesthesia, which I never had a surgery before, so I didn't know that. But the day after surgery, I walked to Erin. That was my goal for the day. They want you up and walking. So I was like, can I walk to Erin's room? And that was when we first saw each other, and got to talk after surgery.
That must have been incredibly emotional. And I also like how you guys as parents bonded. And now, Brianna, I do want to ask, I mean, your decision is no doubt one of the most incredible selfless decisions someone can make. And I'm sure your family is very supportive, but it's no doubt shocking for you to say, guys, I saw this girl online. I want to give her my kidney. That must have been met with okay, great, but what? What did they say?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember my dad being the most hesitant. I'm his little girl. I'm the youngest of three. And I think when my dad really understood what I was doing was when he realized Erin's their little girl. What if that was me and I needed a kid and I couldn't find someone to give one to me? So I think once he really thought about it, that's their baby too. It really made sense to him and he understood why I wanted to do it.
Absolutely.
You're making me emotional. Oh my God.
I know, I saw her wipe a tear and I was like, I love it. I love that it's so good to you guys every time.
That's so cute.
You guys are so sweet, and I can see the genuine friendship here and how much you guys truly care about each other. And now I want to know, this friendship is legendary, no doubt, because you guys have founded an incredible organization where you are helping other people go through the same experience that you did. You are posting about their stories online in hopes that someone like Brianna will come along to save someone like Erin. That is where you founded your organization, Team Be More. Your Instagram has now amassed thousands of followers. Like I said, you are on the Flippin' Ellen show, which everyone knows is inspiring people go on that show. Very appropriate. So I want to know when you came up with the idea for Team Be More, when and how, and tell me a little bit about it. What is the mission behind it?
You can go first.
I mean, so I can't even remember if we started it before or after our surgery, but the term Be More, we actually got matching tattoos before we even got our surgery that said Be More. Be More came from the video log I kept when I was getting tested to be Erin's donor. There's the long part of our story where I got turned down and then we met in between at the donor walk. We got our tattoos together and Be More really always stood out to us. So I think it was obvious that we were going to continue to talk about it no matter what, whether if I was Erin's donor or if I wasn't. But once we got approved at the second hospital is when our story really took off. But Be More is just something so special. It's about being selfless and being more in this life. And if you can't be a donor, just be more kind and be more loving. Like, this world has so much hate and anger, and it's like, it costs nothing to be more and be a kind human. So I think with Team Be More, we've really tried to share other people's stories. I mean, I found Erin on Facebook. So if a Facebook post could encourage me to do it, we share on Instagram and Facebook, that hopefully we could help other people find their donor as well.
Absolutely. I don't want to speak for you, Erin, but I bet you never dreamed that someone out of nowhere could come out on social media and save your life.
No, I mean, you pray for it, obviously, but it just seems so unrealistic. That's especially in Bree's case, like someone that doesn't even know anything about you and just sees a post and feels compelled to get tested for you. It doesn't seem real, but it does happen. And that's why it's so important to share people's stories, because you never know who's watching or listening or looking.
Yes, exactly. And like I mentioned, people who follow organ donation stories online, they are a tight-knit community because they've shared similar experiences. No matter how organ donation relates to you, you want to keep up with it, you want to hear more stories. And there are currently 140,000 people waiting on the transplant list, and that's a lot of people. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. And it's a community that needs to be together to, like you said, Erin, it's a very challenging experience, especially at such a young age, and you need that backing support system. But I do like, though, that Team Be More, it encompasses more than just organ donation. Like you said, Brianna, be more kind, be more selfless, be more in this world. So you're saying even if you can't be a donor, or even if you don't know someone in need of a transplant, you just are encouraging people to be more kind and more giving. And I think that's a message that can apply to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. Like, it is awesome that it's 2 words, but those 2 words can mean so much, even past just organ donation.
And the stories that you guys post, it's clear to see that there are lots of success stories and lots of people that have been inspired by your work. How would you suggest people can be more involved with your organization? How could they support you?
Sharing stories. That's the biggest thing. Like, we just want people to share. It takes seconds to share a post, you know? And again, like, you never know who's looking at it. You could potentially save someone's life and not even realize that you're doing it, you know?
Exactly. And now I want to know what's next for you guys. What are you guys up to? And what's next for your organization?
I feel like we have a lot of plans. Like, there's a lot of things that we hope to do. So it's really just continuing what we're doing, but expanding on that. Maybe like expanding through other platforms, like reaching out to more people, teaming up with some organizations. So I feel like the possibilities are really endless with Be More.
Absolutely.
I so agree. What you guys have done in really a short amount of time is pretty incredible. The following that you've gone, the outreach that you've had, and the impact that you've had in such a little amount of time. Who knows what you'll be doing a couple more years down the line. It's pretty crazy. And I'm sure you guys are like insanely impressed with the outreach you've had.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, like you even just mentioned before this, was it just like takes one person, like even if you're not the one that's going to donate, just it takes one person to share a post. Like, my boyfriend's mom shared the post that I saw about Erin. So you don't think that small action of hitting share is going to reach people. And I feel like that's really important to know, that even if you're not called to be a donor, like just being a kind person and sharing these types of posts and bringing awareness is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And Erin, I'm sorry I cut you off there. I just got a little excited.
Oh, fine. It's all good.
So now I'm at my last 2 questions. And so my show's title is called The Silver Lining, Donation Inspiration. And it's all about finding the positivity in every situation. And Erin, I know from my work through the kidney group and VIP Kidney Health, where we deal with dialysis patients all the time, how hard it is to battle CKD, especially for a young person aged 24. Mm-hmm. What would you say the silver lining through this process, though, of dealing with your kidney disease, battling it, being a kidney warrior has been?
So when you're sick, it's hard to look at the future, right? Because you're in this moment and you're just so upset. But I truly did believe that, like, this was going to change my life in a positive way, because it gave me the voice to be able to speak for others, to be able to share stories for other people. If I always say this, and I really do mean this so much, I wouldn't be the person I am today if I never got sick. It completely changed my life for the better. Like, not saying that I would want to be sick again, but it gave me like a purpose in life too. I never thought that I would ever have to speak for organ donation. I never even knew anything about organ donation until I went through it. And it's just the most humbling thing ever. Becoming an organ donor is just, it's the most selfless thing you could ever do for anyone. And I love it so much. And I know that it's my purpose in life.
And it's crazy that before you even diagnosed, you didn't even know anything about it. And then suddenly one day it becomes everything you can think about.
Right. Yeah. My entire life.
Exactly. But seeing what you've done is incredibly inspiring, and you are an incredibly amazing young woman. Don't even know you, and I'm so proud of you for what you've done. And I'm also so proud of you, Brianna. And I want to know what the silver lining through being a donor has been for you. And what advice would you give to anyone contemplating not only just giving a kidney, but giving any organ for that matter? What advice would you give to them if they're on the fence about it?
Yeah, I mean, I can say personally that it has absolutely changed my life. Also, sorry if you hear my dog crying all this time.
He's getting emotional. He's just
he's trying to. But I mean, it really truly changed my life too. Like I can't even tell you who the person I was 3 years ago before I donated a kidney. I don't know what was my purpose. Like, I don't even know. I feel so like fulfilled and so much more selfless and so much more drive to help people now from it. Like that one day changed my entire life too. So the advice I would give is to really step past the point of fear. You're always going to be scared to make a decision in life. But honestly, if you choose faith over fear and you get past that step of trying, like it's going to be the best decision you've ever made in your life. It truly changes your life to have that kind of impact on someone and to be able to say you saved somebody's life. So I really think the biggest advice is to get past the point of fear and to have a community with you. Like I think something would be more, me and Erin, it's a family now. Like if you're considering donating, we want to help you. We want to walk the journey with you so you're not alone. Like we'll take it on with you. If you're nervous, like talk to someone and talk to us, and we'll really help walk you through it.
Right.
Absolutely. And when I reached out to you guys for an interview, I wasn't really expecting a reply because, like I said, you guys have amassed quite a following, but you guys were very prompt getting back to me. So if you guys are contemplating or just want to talk to them about this process or, how they dealt with it, they will get back to you. I can vouch for that. But you guys are amazing. I really appreciate you being here today. It means a lot to me. And I just want to say thank you to VIP Kidney Health and the Kidney Group for sponsoring this video, as well as LGLO, Love God, Love Others, a t-shirt company. I always wear my Love God, Love Others Be a Donor shirt that they made me for my platform. And do remember 10% of the proceeds are going to an organ donation organization of my choice. And I will be sending Erin and Brianna t-shirts as well so they can rock them. And guys, please check out their merchandise. I know they have Be More shirts, which I want one. And please follow them on Instagram. They are an amazing duo, incredibly inspiring. And you guys, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much for having us.
You guys are incredible. And I am like elated that I had you here. I'm like an organ donation celebrity now. So bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into my channel today. Your support means the world to me. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel and like and comment on my videos because your support is what fuels my ability to make content. I'll see you guys next time, and once again, thanks for joining me for another episode of The Silver Lining. Love you guys. Bye!